Good afternoon and welcome here to Guiseley AFC Radio. Never mind thunder snow or weather bombs. Roger and the ground staff have managed to get this game on. It's the FA Trophy, Carlsberg Trophy first round. It's Guiseley versus Chorley, and we're going to be bringing you live match coverage here on Guiseley AFC Radio. I'm Colin Robertson. Alongside me is Tom Feeney. Good afternoon, Tom. Looking forward to this and delighted that they managed to get the game on.
Good afternoon, yes. Well, I arrived at the ground at about 1 o'clock and, well, I was crossing my fingers, but the volunteers have done a fantastic job making sure that this game is on today. Really looking forward to it now.
Yeah, AD absolutely delighted with the AD Towers. That is the Chief Exec Club Secretary, delighted with the response of the fan base, the volunteers, the people who turn out week in, week out to support this club. 20 of them or so came down and managed to do the work that was necessary. The covers had to come off and the ground needed some care and attention to get it through to being passed fit by the referee today, Thomas Bramall, at about 1:30. So we look forward to an FA Trophy tie, and it couldn't be tougher against a very strong Chorley side, but we did well last week. We did superbly well against a very good team in Stockport County. I spoke to Mark Bauer after that game, after the 3-0 victory. I'm joined now by Mark Bauer after the fine 3-0 win here at Stockport. Mark, incredibly professional performance in that second half, down to 10 men. A very difficult place to go. Must be absolutely delighted with that performance and result.
Yeah, they've not lost here since the opening day. I think up until Tuesday night, they'd won every league game since the opening day. They drew on Tuesday night, and then to come here and get that result, that performance, and done it with nearly all the second half with 10 men, was really pleasing. But I think we're playing really well at the minute. I think performances have been really, really good. I think we're controlling games. You look at the goals that are going in our net, we've been unfortunate with a majority of the ones that are going in, and we look like scoring at the other end. So I think that's kind of a culmination of how we've been playing over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, to be fair, it could have been more than 3.
So the story, obviously, of the second half will be how the game turned with the sending off at that point. With Stockport had come out more strongly in the second half, you must have thought the omens were pretty bad. First, what's your view on the sending off?
It was, I think these days, if you do sort of lunge into that tackle, which Killer did, you're running the risk of getting the red card. You know, in fairness to him, I think the other lad went in exactly the same, and there's the argument that each player's looking after themselves. I can't see how you sort of say which one's been reckless or committing dangerous play and the other one's not. They both went in a similar fashion, so for us to get a red card and them to get nothing is the way it fell for us. But we dug in really well and kept good shape about us. I think you saw the experience in the team, the likes of Bosch, lucky enough to bring Andy Holdsworth in midfield. They just conceded the ground that they had to and nicked the ball when it was on to do so, and with the likes of OJ Boys and Gavin Rothery up at the top end of the pitch, you're always going to have a chance to score. Did it at Hensford a few months ago. Boise took his chance brilliantly there, and today when we got the opportunities in the second half, we were clinical with them. Had we been clinical in the first half, we may have been out of sight by then, but really pleased. I thought we were excellent first half. The only criticism I had was that we weren't 3-4-0 in front, and then in the second half that was a faultless performance with 10 men.
Yeah, the only question was from us was up there was that at half time. We just wondered how we hadn't managed to get that second, and certainly when the red card came out, we thought we might go on to rue that.
Yeah, you always thought we said at half time, even with 11, we're playing away at one of the better teams in the league. They're going to have a spell of pressure against us, so we need to withstand that. We've made it difficult for ourselves in not being further in front. But I don't even think they had that spell even when we had 10 men. There was no. Yes, they had possession. They had and the ball in their 2/3 of the pitch. But once he stepped into the final third, I thought we dealt with everything superbly, barring the shot that it's a crossbar with almost the last kick of the game. I can't really remember them having anything, so it didn't really turn the game. It just made us sit back a little bit more and be a bit more effective on the counter-attack, and the lads deserve an awful lot of credit for that.
And now onwards to the FA Trophy next week, and this time, Danny Lowe and Wayne Brooks going to be back in contention.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to pick a team next week. We slightly changed what we were doing today. We knew they'd try and flood the midfield area. We knew they were very concerned about us controlling the area, as we've done in the previous games against them, and they did that. But we the formation we played really worked well for us today, and credit to Nicky Boschel. Pleased for him that he came in and got his goal. A little bit unfortunate to be sacrificed there when we had to make the change. But yeah, people have come into the team. Obviously Ben Parker slots straight back in there and shows his class, and Nick comes in and plays really well, so it's going to be a difficult one to pick next week, but it's the kind of headaches you want, really.
Thanks, Mark. That was Mark Bauer there speaking to me after the game against Stockport County, and I wouldn't mind another post-match interview. Was sort of easy as that to do, really. I mean, he was absolutely brimming with delight at the way that we'd gone about that game, Tom, and it was a superb performance, wasn't it? You really couldn't pick fault with it.
No, I think it was two different kinds of performance. The first half, Guiseley dominated pretty much the whole half and really should have been 2 or 3 goals ahead. You get the man sent off early on in the second, and you're expecting your backs to be against the wall, but the amount of work Adam Boyes and Ollie Johnson did with the defending they did, but also the way that they linked towards each other in that second half was just a joy to see. And the Cruyff turn by Ollie Johnson for the second goal and the pass was just incredible. And I think I was looking at the Stockport forum afterwards, a lot of people on there were jealous that Ollie Johnson was in our team rather than theirs, and Adam Boyes the same, and quite rightly so. Yeah,
it was an absolutely brilliant performance. But on to today, and now Chorley are a much sterner task than you perhaps had hoped to have met at this stage of the competition. And we met them last in an FA Trophy, and at that time they were 2 divisions below us, and they still really put up a real stern fight that day, and we only just scraped through 1-0. I remember that being a very, very close fought contest.
Yeah, well, I think the work that has been done at Chorley in the last couple of years, they progressed through the leagues, and they've always had a bit of quality about them. They're a team that do like to attack, like to get forward, cause problems for the side, and again, they'll be doing that here. And I think it's, when you look at it, the first round, sometimes you're wanting a team maybe a couple of divisions below. Chorley really are one of the tougher teams we could have got today, in my opinion, because they're a team that really will go at Guiseley, and we're going to have to be at our very best to make sure that we progress to the second round.
Well, both teams are out now, Chorley and Guiseley, just going through the handshake in front of the dugouts across the way from us. So let's just go through that team news. First for the Lions, Stephen Drench in goal, Ryan Toulson, Ben Parker, Shane Killock and Danny Ellis, the back 4. Jake Lawler and Danny Boschel, the holding midfielders as ever. Nicky Boschel gets a start this afternoon along with Adam Boyes and Ollie Johnson and Gavin Rothery in a midfield 3, obviously with Boyes up front. So it's a return to the starting lineup for Nicky Boschel, despite the return of Wayne Brooksby, who starts on the bench alongside Andy Holdsworth, Danny Lowe and Alex Johnson. Steve Dickinson, the sub-goalkeeper as ever. Tough opponents this afternoon, and full of quality actually, and a side that's kept together as well strongly through its promotions in recent years. Sam Rushton in goal, Mark Ross, Adam Mather, the captain Andy Teague, Chris Doyle, Jake Cottrell, Jack Lynch, Dale Whittam, James Dean, who played his football with Halifax for a number of seasons, a very highly rated striker, Chris Sims and Darren Stevenson. Then on the bench, Josh Hine, Kyle Jacobs, Paul Jarvis, Adam Roscoe and Jack Downey. Referee today is Thomas Bramall, and he'll be assisted by Alan Hull and Christopher Hunter. Looking at these 2 sides, Tom, you probably can't pick too much between them in terms of league position, and probably in terms of quality you would assume it'll be a very, very even match.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I think the only part where you might look at it is the bench, the difference, because you've got Wayne Brooksby, who is banging form, and if he can get off the bench 20 minutes to go, he will offer maybe just a little bit more of a threat during that time. But I think the starting 11, you've got 2 very strong sides, and both really will be looking to get through to the second round.
And of course there is prize money and prestige, and even a potential trip to Wembley on the cards for teams at this level in the FA Trophy. So the Lions get this game underway, as we've just done so, shooting from right to left in white shirts with navy blue shorts and socks as ever, playing Chorley in their away kit, which is a sort of purple shirt, white shorts and white socks. And it's picked up in the centre circle by Jack Lynch. Claims of handball as Chorley press the ball forward. Shane Killock, of course, sent off last week for that coming together on the halfway line. And he's probably playing one of his last games for the club before his loan deal ends anyway. He clears, and then Danny Ellis also gets a foot in to knock the ball out into touch for a Chorley throw. Both sides will be wanting to make their mark early doors in this game. Guiseley defend the throw up to the halfway line. Jake Lawler with a towering header, but the ball comes back at Guiseley. Danny Ellis called into action early doors. And now Chorley come forward with Chris Sim. Sends a ball in towards James Dean. Just goes beyond him and back into the hands of Stephen Drench, who rolls it to Ben Parker. The captain today surges forward from left back and did so well and so effectively last week and does it again. Gets the ball up here to Nicky Boschel. Good ball into the edge of the D from Boschel. Cleared and then picked up by the second phase by Guiseley. Great interplay, gives Ben Parker the chance to cross from the byline in towards the 6-yard box, headed away well by Andy Teague. And in the end, Chorley clear their lines up to the halfway line. Danny Ellis swiftly across to tidy things up. And then Shane Killock sends it long, looking for the overlapping run of Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson takes it down but can't keep it in play. And it's gone behind for a throw-in.
Well, good positive football by both sides to start with. Fantastic play between Nicky Boschel and Ben Parker, getting that cross in, and you're just putting it into an area. You're seeing if Adam Boyes has made the run. Unfortunately for the Lions, he hadn't, but it's good to see guys, they're already asking questions of the Chorley defence.
The Lions pick the ball up anyway in the Chorley half. We'll be keeping you up to date with as many trophy scores as we can across the course of the day. Of course, most of the Vanarama Conference North teams are in action in the FA Carlsberg Trophy. Barrow aren't, and we'll be keeping up to date with that score as well across the course of the afternoon. No score here in the early stages of this game. 3 minutes gone. Guiseley on the ball now with Danny Boschel. Lays it up towards Gavin Rothery. Rothery gets a late challenge in on him. Clutches his ankle, and it was Dale Whittam who went in there. But Rothery's up, and Guiseley will have a free kick.
Yeah, just a bit of a nasty tackle there. Nothing too malicious about it. Just caught him right on the point of his ankle. Rothery, though, straight back to his feet, and we continue.
Nicky Boschel now goes to ground. He's won a free kick for Guiseley. Good position this, 30 yards from goal. Chance for Danny Boschel perhaps to float the ball into the area.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look at the fact that Ollie Johnson and Shane Killock and Danny Ellis, they're making the runs forward already. We're only a couple of minutes in, but already it's a real good chance this with the height Guiseley have.
Boschel now to curl this one into the box. Does so towards the penalty spot. Up towards Danny Ellis. It takes a header from Shane Killock actually in the end to take it away from Danny Ellis. And it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Well, I think it's just one of them. Killock wants to just flick it onto Ellis's head, and I actually think he flicks just a little bit too much on the ball and it goes over the head of Ellis. Might have been better if Killock had just left that and Ellis would have had a chance to just get his head onto it. But it's good play there by the two central defenders. They're trying to help each other out, and that's good to see.
Well, the game between Worcester City and Halifax in the FA Trophy was called off earlier on, so no action this afternoon down there for Worcester City, who of course got a big FA Cup replay coming up. FA Trophy perhaps second in their minds. But there has been a goal for Stockport at Ramsbottom. They lead by 1-0. And for Hyde at home to Spennymoor. Hyde looking to build on that impressive 1-0 victory they got at North Ferriby last week, as well as Altrincham, who lead Macclesfield by 1-0. I believe the Bradford Park Avenue game against Kidderminster has also fallen victim to the weather. Chorley now have a free kick, about level with the centre circle inside the Guiseley half. The ball floated in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed on at the back there by Andy Teague, the captain. He claims it took a touch off a Guiseley man, but in the end, the referee has pointed for a goal kick. Set pieces certainly line up. It's funny, isn't it? The free kicks as they are in around sort of midfield positions now. You sense they'll be used as opportunities to lob the ball in and pressurise. Every free kick will be quite precious. Guiseley just get the ball. A good flick on there from Jake Lawler into the chest of Adam Boyes, and for a moment there it just looked like the attack might break, and then a rather sloppy ball back that requires Danny Ellis to ensure that Chris Sim doesn't get on the end of that ball, and he does so and gives it back to Stephen Drench. Four guys who tidy things up and retain possession now in midfield here with Tilson. Sends it down the right flank, and that's gone out for a throw-in.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, you look at James Dean and that initial cross comes in and he puts himself about. He moved in the area a couple of times and really made the Guiseley defence think, where is he actually going to be when this is delivered? In the end, he does get his head onto it, and I'm not sure if it took a little deflection off Danny Ellis's shoulder and went out of play. The referee gave the goal kick, but it does look like James Dean will be putting himself about during this game and really making the Guiseley defence, just keeping them on their toes.
Nicky Boschel working hard to win the ball, gives it to Danny Boschel, finds Adam Boyes on the edge of the 18-yard box. 3 players around him, gets a little bit of space for himself, but gets a shot away, deflects, falls to Ollie Johnson on the right flank now. Ollie Johnson tries to get the cross in, just overhits it, and it's gone behind and into the netting behind the standing area behind that goal, and they won't be able to retrieve. That's more of a five-a-side moment, that, for me. We can't get the ball out of the net, so we'll have a moment while a new ball comes in, and it's a goal kick nonetheless. So Chorley.
Well, the Chorley fans have done it. They've got it out the netting, and they'll be throwing it onto the pitch. But yeah, I just felt with Adam Boyes there, he has a look up, and I don't think he sees Ollie Johnson to his right. If he did, a quick pass into him there. Gavin Rothery was in the area pretty much alone, but instead Boyes has a shot, and by the time it takes a couple of deflections, goes to Johnson. He's just trying to keep it into play, maybe trying to get that cross in as well, but he can't, and it goes out.
Good work here from Ryan Toulson, sends the ball back to Stephen Drench. The goal in the FA Trophy. FC United have taken the lead against Harrogate Town, so FC United 1, Harrogate Town 0. And I'm not sure which one is the shock result there, to be honest, if Harrogate were to get the result or FC United, but Harrogate Town losing at the moment. Guiseley looking to get themselves off the mark here at home. Gavin Rothery working well, gets the ball out to Danny Boschel. Rothery gets the ball back from Boschel. He's under pressure immediately. He gets the ball and forced back to the halfway line. Killick and Rothery combine. Rothery down this left-hand side, cuts in field to Danny Boschel. Boschel sends it back here to Danny Ellis, who's under pressure there from Chris Sim again. As guys who look to hold on to the ball, and they do. And then Gavin Rothery can't go through Mark Ross, who stands his space well and wins the ball back for the visitors. And the Magpies go forward again until Danny Ellis cuts things out. A super header comes in here from Chris Doyle, as Doyle was up against Adam Boyes, who is phenomenal goal-scoring form at the moment. And in the end, Doyle's header gets it all the way back to Sam Rushton, the goalkeeper. Rushton launches it long, headed away by Killick. Nodded on towards Danny Ellis. He seemed to get a nudge in the back there from James Dean, but nothing is given by the referee, and Chorley now move with the ball into Guiseley territory. The ball towards Dean is cut out, and Guiseley clear with Gavin Rothery. Under pressure from Ross, gets the ball into the halfway line, and Nicky Boschel loses out, and Chorley come away with it again. The right back now, Mark Ross, sends it forward, looking to send Darren Stevenson away, and it takes a good tackle to come in here from Shane Killick to defend it and knock it out for a throw-in for Chorley.
Really good play there by Killick, because it looks like it's going out for a corner. He just is able to keep it out and get it out for the frame. But just looking at Gavin Rothery, every time he runs down the wing nearest to us, he's always 2-on-1, and it's a case that Chorley are taking full advantage of that, getting possession back and then getting the ball up.
Throw comes in, defended well this time, but there's a free kick given for a nudge in the back, I think, against Jake Lawler. Guys will have a free kick inside their own penalty area. Telford 0, Chester 1 in the Vanarama Conference. In the FA Trophy. I'm going to have to watch that, aren't I? There's no Vanarama Conference games today because, of course, all of those sides are in the first round of the FA Trophy. And there's also another one, Western 1, Farnborough 0. Guiseley defending again as Chorley put the ball forward into the Guiseley half, but they send it back only as far as Jake Cottrell, who wins the ball back for the visitors. And then Cottrell with a good header on as the rain comes down heavily here at Nethermoor. Helps it into the Chorley half, but the visitors again manage to recover possession, and they send it long with a good ball from Mark Ross. Danny Ellis has to get a header away from James Dean, but Chorley win the second phase and take over here with Jack Lynch, 25 yards from goal. Gets past Killick, goes towards the edge of the 18-yard box, into the area, goes back this time to Whittam. Whittam into the feet of Jack Lynch, and in the end his shot is rather tame and behind for a goal kick.
Well, positive play there by Lynch, and he just looked like he was going to have a shot. He decided to have a pass, and by the time he gets the return ball, it was quite overhit, and it means that he's really just got to have a snapshot, hits the side netting. But they're showing guys that they can get forward. They're doing exactly what I thought they'd do, and that is 4 men up at pretty much all times. They've got 2 wingers and 2 strikers, causing problems throughout. And for Guiseley, it's just a case that they're having to keep that back 4 back in that position because Chorley are keeping them men forward.
Gavin Rothery now on the ball, gives it to Adam Boyes. Boyes square to Nicky Boschel. Nicky Boschel on the angle of the penalty area tries to cut it infield towards Rothery. It's well cut out though, and Chorley can counter-attack, and Stevenson's having a good old race here against Toulson. Toulson gets it back to Drench. Stevenson chases after it. Drench clears, and eventually Guiseley have cleared their lines, and Jake Lawler in the centre circle takes it down, gives it to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson's up against a ferocious tackling and from Jake Cottrell, and just in the end unable to hold on to the ball. Guiseley win it back though with Jake Lawler to Gavin Rothery. Rothery down this left flank has a run up against Dean. Dean gets a foot in on him. Ben Parker now takes over up against Mark Ross. Mark Ross goes to ground with the ball and I think somehow controls it on the ground with his hands. Free kick's given. Can't see too much in that, to be fair. Guys, you have a free kick just inside from the touchline on this left-hand side, about level with the penalty spot.
I think it's unlucky there because he's fallen over and the ball. Gavin Rothery's kicked the ball into his hand and he couldn't really move his hand to do that, but Guiseley get the free kick.
Now Nicky Boschel curls one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's towards Boyes, but it's headed away and away from goal. I think it wasn't going to go out for a corner anyway. I think it was going to go out for a goal kick. Nonetheless, Chorley have kept the ball live and cleared up to the halfway line where Cottrell threads it towards Chris Sim. Sim back to goal, goes back towards Adam Mather, the fullback. Takes it down and eventually sends it long, looking for Sim, but it's going to go out for a Guiseley throw.
It's been a good start so far. I think the rain may just affect the pitch a little bit, though I've got to say the pitch does look fantastic at the moment, and the work by them volunteers today, you've got to applaud it, because I know there was a little bit of sun, but I was told before the volunteers got to work, the pitch was basically frozen and it looked like there would be no game of football. So it's good work now. Hopefully the players can reward those people that have helped with the win.
Now Gavin Rothery on the ball down the left-hand side. Rothery sends it infield here to Jake Lawler. Lawler tries to find a reverse pass in to send Boyes on his way. It's blocked, but Guiseley still have the ball. Nicky Boschel on the left flank. Back to Rothery, right on the touchline. Lazy ball in from Rothery, but he does actually win a throw-in. Perhaps that was the intent off Mark Ross. And Rothery gets the ball back from the throw. This time gives it to Adam Boyes in the penalty area. Good spin on the ball from Nicky Boschel. Good tackle comes in from Andy Teague. Give him full credit, the defender there. Brilliant piece of innovation from Nicky Boschel, but a good thundering tackle comes in from Andy Teague to clear the opportunity. Guiseley now on the ball though with Ben Parker. Sprays it across towards Adam Boyes. He helps it on. Finds Ollie Johnson on the right flank. 2 to aim for Ollie Johnson. Goes into the penalty area, down towards the byline. Big skill, a bit of trickery and skill from Ollie Johnson. Gets the corner. His cross is deflected behind. And Guiseley just beginning to have a spell of pressure here.
Yeah, plenty of positives by Guiseley there. Fantastic tackle, I've got to say, by the defender, because that is a committed tackle. If he gets that wrong, it's a penalty. But good play, and just the pass by Ben Parker there. It's a fantastic diagonal ball. Finds Ollie Johnson, gets the corner, and now all the big men, they're just outside the penalty area. Ellis, Lawler and Killock, they're going to be ready to run in and try and make something of it.
Corner comes in up towards the 6-yard box. Easy for the goalkeeper Sam Rushton to claim. And this will be a simple rollout, and the opportunity passes. And now for Chorley, they can press the ball forward. Long one from Andy Teague up towards Stevenson. Takes it down on his chest well. Lays it back to the halfway line. Into the feet of Whittam. And then a ball forward from Adam Mather. And Sim tries to keep the flowing move going down that left-hand side until Danny Ellis gets a foot in and knocks the ball out for a throw-in. And Chorley getting behind their side now as they have a throw-in about level with the penalty spot on the left-hand side as they attack the Guiseley goal.
Well, I think Mark Ross will... Well, it looks like he's in quite a bit of discomfort the Chorley defender. He actually punched the ground when he moved it. I think it might be his ankle. He seemed to just give it a twist and punch the ground. He was in quite a bit of pain. The physio's going to come on now, but that looks like an off-the-ball incident. Just a player just basically running towards the Chorley end, and something's tweaked maybe, and already it looks like there might be a substitute coming on for Chorley, because it looks like he won't be continuing.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Just one of them where Guiseley now, they've got to just start to put their foot back into this game, because Chorley, it's just been the last couple of minutes, they really have been getting forward and causing problems. They've been asking questions, and last 10 minutes Adam Boyes has hardly touched the ball because they can't find him, because it's a case that they've got so many men marking him. But the likes of Ollie Johnson and Gavin Roderick gives them a little bit more room, and it's something Guiseley will have to look to try and take advantage of.
Stephen Drench out of his area, long clearance up towards Nicky Boschel. If you're just joining us again, very much apologise for the power cut we just experienced, but we are hopefully going to come through back on air without any further problems. We say that touching wood. But Guiseley still 0-0 here against Chorley. Chorley have had a couple of great opportunities, and but for a super save from Stephen Drench and a clearance, a rather unusual clearance from Danny Ellis, forcing the ball over the crossbar, Guiseley might have found themselves a goal behind. They've also had to make a change in that the right back Mark Ross for the visitors has gone off with a rather uncomfortable looking injury on his ankle and has been replaced by Kyle Jacobs. So one change already forced on the visitors. Now Guiseley looking to change the dynamic of the game and get back into attacking momentum. Adam Boyes wins the ball down by the corner flag off the defender, gives it into Nicky Boschel. He curls a shot in towards the back post, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. The goalkeeper, in fairness, Sam Rushton, looked very comfortable and very content to let that one go behind.
Yeah, it's almost like Nicky got caught in two minds there, because it's a shot which in the end is about halfway between the corner flag and the goal itself, and just felt like maybe Nicky had seen his brother running into the area while also thinking about having that shot, and in the end it doesn't really achieve either. It's not on target and it doesn't find a teammate either, and the goalkeeper, as you said, quite comfortable. He didn't look panicked in the slightest, just lets it go out of play.
A couple of other scores: FC United 2, Harrogate Town 0, Brackley 1, Leamington 0, and Lincoln 0, Alfreton 1. So goals going on in the FA Carlsberg Trophy. No goals here, but the visitors have come the closest thus far. Jack Lynch now on the ball, gives it to the substitute Kyle Jacobs. Jacobs lays it into Dean. Dean and Jacobs combine well. Ollie Johnson steps across, takes the ball away from him now, comes forward with it, under pressure from Stevenson, is pulled down, and Guiseley will have a free kick, and Stevenson, I think, knew what he was doing there, because Ollie Johnson was just beginning to get up a bit of a head of steam inside his own half, and Chorley didn't want to be caught in the counter-attack.
I think it's one of them, you take one for the team, and sometimes tackles like that result in a yellow card because the referee can see the attack is progressing nicely, but Stevenson just gets his body in the way, pushes him to the floor and ends that attack. Stephen
Drench, good ball into the chest of Danny Boschel. Now Ollie Johnson steps onto the ball, tricks his way through three players before it takes a deflection, and it goes behind for a Chorley conceded corner, and Guiseley have their own opportunity now to get the big men from the back and perhaps press and cause a few problems again for this Magpies defence.
Yeah, well, a couple of minutes ago Chorley had a 5-minute spell. Guiseley are now entering that spell. You can just tell when Ollie Johnson gets the ball, the defence look a bit weary.
Quick short corner taken into the feet of Ryan Toulson, who'd surged forward down the right hand flank, but his delivery was poor. Disappointing end from that corner, and we're again as you were, with the ball back with the visitors. Thanks to our regular tweeter, Evergreen Shadow. Yes, another power cut. I know. I can't read the rest of the tweet because it's only come through on the front screen of the phone here. But yes, we apologise. We've lost the power. But Chorley back into Guiseley's territory, and a ball through there from Whittam had to be cut out. Guiseley under tremendous pressure. Ben Parker's just been robbed there by Jack Lynch. Jack Lynch square now. Gives it to Cottrell. He gets a shot away, blocked by Danny Ellis. Stevenson collects, takes it down well, lays it to the left-hand side where Adam Mather looks to deliver across. He's now got Gavin Rothery to contend with, and Rothery does well and gets the foot in, but it's a throw-in rather for Chorley. again, level with the penalty spot on the left-hand side. Chorley beginning to get bodies forward here. And the throw is short for Cottrell. Then Mather gets the cross in, takes a deflection, goes behind for another Chorley corner.
Yeah, well, just when Ben Parker got robbed there, fantastic play by Chorley, because they got 5 men forward into the penalty area almost immediately. It's like they predicted that was going to happen, and that's caused this pressure.
The corner from the left-hand side about to be whipped in here. Curled in towards the 6-yard box, headed down by Danny Ellis, still not cleared. Lynch tries to get a drive towards goal. It falls towards James Dean, cut out well by Adam Boyes and deep in defensive duty. Ollie Johnson trying to win the ball back, but Dean has done really well, takes it down the right-hand side. Looks like he's going to deliver a good cross. He gets it blocked by Ben Parker, but it's another Chorley corner.
And every corner they deliver, they seem to have so many men forward. They're asking Guiseley questions, and that corner there, the previous one, Adam Boyes does really well to flick the ball in the air, because if he hadn't, it's a free shot on target and, well, a very good chance for it to be 1-0.
Corner about to be delivered from this right-hand side. Eventually, there's about 6 or 7 purple shirts on the edge of that 6-yard box. Headed away by Ben Parker, goes back to the taker, and delivered back in again by Mather, in towards the goal, and eventually
offside.
Falls and puts
Offside.
into the area. But as Tom rightly says, there's an offside flag, and I think it might have been Andy Teague, or was it Chris Doyle who got the final touch? But the linesman on this far side has given an offside flag, and referee is now going to talk to the linesman. Now, normally he would just give the decision and walk away. I wonder if he's saying, no, the last touch was off a Guiseley man. Will the referee actually make a decision here that is against his first decision? And he's given the goal. He has given the goal. And Guiseley contest it. And after the original effort was ruled out for offside, the referee has spoken to the linesman, who himself, over on this near side, Christopher Hunter, gave the goal, disallowed the goal for offside. The referee went to speak to him, and in the end, well, Chorley have been awarded the goal. They've been given the goal.
Well, what happens is, this is the problem with the offside rule, is the ball is in, and Steve Drench is clearly blocked by Darren Stevenson, who's in an offside position. So Drench, he's in play, he's affecting play, but the referee's saying he didn't touch the ball, hence the goal's given. But the linesman had his flag up immediately, waving it. He was giving an offside, and the referee said, no, I'm overruling you, it's a goal. And it's just one of them goals where, because the offside rule, it seems to be a point that no one can really understand. Goal given.
Well, I try to be easy on the referees, to be honest, but I have to say, in the recent weeks, we have seen some bizarre decisions, big calls. And, well, I guess, he'll be called right or wrong on the decision by the video coverage of the game. But to me, I think somehow that just doesn't smell right at all to me. Guiseley find themselves a goal down here. Gavin Rothery now takes over. To be fair, Chorley had been pressing, and in effect, you'd felt that there was the danger that this was coming. Ollie Johnson now, as Guiseley look to make an immediate response. Jake Lawler on the edge of the D, can't get the shot away. Chorley get the bodies behind and eventually clear. Chris Doyle sends it long. I'm not even sure who put the ball in. There was a melee of players, and it wasn't very clear from where we were positioned. But I think it was the centre-half, Chris Doyle, maybe got the final touch. Stephen Drench gets the ball away from the edge of his 18-yard box. Ollie Johnson nods on, taken away from him by Dale Whittam. Guiseley now look to press. Adam Boyes and the goalkeeper Sam Rushton were in a little bit two minds as to who was going to go for the ball. Adam Boyes didn't give up the chase and almost got there first, but Rushton eventually called himself into action and cleared the ball. Guiseley now get an offside decision in their favour, and not surprisingly, there's ironic cheers from the home fans at the decision. But, well, I am absolutely perplexed by that decision there. Guiseley find themselves a goal down after an absolute confusing goal that's been awarded to Chorley. Now they come away with it with their substitute, Kyle Jacobs. Jacobs up from right back. He's got Dean to the right-hand side. He's got Sim in the area. Chorley pressing forward once again. Square here to Jack Lynch. Lynch, square again. The shot comes in from Cottrell, and a great save from Stephen Drench just to palm the ball behind for a corner. And I have to say, Chorley, in fairness, they perhaps deserve a lead.
Yep.
And they continue to press with some threat.
Really good save there by Steve Drench, because that ball's sneaking in, and I think when it's first struck, I think Drench thinks it's just going wide. He then notices it's got a bit of spin on it, and he has to get it out for a corner.
Corner to Chorley from the left-hand side. This one turned to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Danny Ellis. They're really looking to capitalise on the momentum that they have. The ball back into the area again, headed away by Ellis. Guys, it can't clear their lines. Adam Boyes perhaps can now. Up against Cottrell, who took that initial shot that was saved by Stephen Drench. He gets the ball in towards Stevenson, who's on the left flank, up against Ryan Toulson. Stevenson crosses into the area. He finds Dean, and that's 2. Chris Sim, in fact, it was. Guiseley have gone 2 goals down, and it's already looking like it's going to be a very difficult afternoon. No question about the second. Chris Sim with a cool finish after good work from Darren Stevenson. 32 minutes gone. It's Guiseley 0, Chorley 2.
Well, it's worrying just how easy that goal happened, because Chris Sim, it's a tap in. He's got no one near him, and he's just peeled away from the centre backs. He's 5 yards out. He taps it into the back of the net. Guiseley 2-0 down. It just feels like Guiseley is still a little bit shell-shocked that they conceded that first goal, that controversial first goal. Seems to have really affected Guiseley. They've now got to snap out of it and get going, or this game is going to be far beyond them before half-time even.
Yeah, there is a danger, of course, a third, like Barrow. You know, we would have given the game up before we've got into action here, and at the moment we find ourselves 2-0 down with 33 minutes gone in this game. And so just give you some other scorelines that have been coming through. Stockport County 2-0 up against Ramsbottom. Telford 1, Chester 1. Dover leading 1-0 at Lowestoft. Farnborough 2-1 now against Weston. Woking 1-0 up against Eastleigh. And Welling 1-0 up at Ebbsfleet. Burgess Hill also leading at Aldershot. So it could be a bit of a turn up for the Bucks today. Guys had a free kick in their own area. It's been repelled once again by Chorley. Cottrell and Teague combine well to get the ball away up towards Stevenson. He's bundled in the back, no question that, from the challenge from Ryan Toulson, a little bit obvious, and a free kick to Chorley right in front of the dugout on the far side there, and a chance now for Chorley to distribute the ball back into the area. They've got 3 forward this time. It's going to go long. It's about level with the centre circle inside the Guiseley half, right out on the left hand side, just in from the touchline there. And the cross comes in up towards Dean on the far side. He heads it on, and this time it's going to go behind for a goal kick. Guys, you need to do something special, don't they, Tom? Yeah,
and I think, although the first goal was controversial, I think on the balance of play you would say that yes, Chorley deserved to be a goal up, because Steve Drench had made 2 really good saves before that, and it just feels like Chorley have really brought the game to Guiseley today, and they've been able to really put 2 or 3 men on the key players that Guiseley have, the likes of Adam Boyes, Gavin Rothery, Ollie Johnson. The main the main attacking forces have been man-marked really well.
Long ball forward, searching towards Adam Boyes, but Guiseley just can't seem to retain possession. Not like they did against Stockport County last Saturday. It's quite a different Guiseley it has turned out this afternoon so far. Mathers combining with Sim, but they can't hold on to the ball. But it's a question now of what will the Lions do with it. Ryan Toulson up towards Adam Boyes. If he's left on his own, he's got an awful lot to do. He's out on the right touchline with 2 players around him. Boyes does well as ever, gives it back to Toulson. Toulson distributes. Boschel gets a little touch on it, gives it to Danny Boschel. Back here to Jake Lawler. His ball over. And Nicky Boschel, who was perhaps should have been looking to play off the shoulder of the defender, in the end was waiting to get it into his chest. Jake Lawler sent it over the top of the defender. Net result in the hands of Sam Rushton.
Yeah, and just that little bit of lack of communication makes the job for Chorley a lot easier. The defence there, they look to be a little bit stretched for a moment, but that pass and that lack of communication just results in the goalkeeper easily collecting the ball and throwing it out and getting the ball as far from his goal as possible.
Now Gavin Rothery starts another surging run down the left flank, gives it here to Nicky Boschel, but Nicky Boschel can't keep up with the pace of the ball, and it's gone out for a Chorley throw, and there's some frustration in the crowd here, and I'm frustrated watching this because 36 minutes gone, Guiseley 0, Chorley 2, and it's not what we were hoping for at all in this first 45 minutes of football.
It's just been one of them games where Guiseley started quite brightly, but that first goal, it always felt like it was going to be crucial. And today, at the moment, it seems just since they've conceded the goal, Guiseley, that the first goal, the passing's just gone a little bit weak. And
now Stevenson on the ball here for Chorley as they come forward again. Gets the ball into Teague. Teague back here to Mathers. Mather back to Teague, and they're looking to deliver eventually from this left-hand side with a cross, but Teague just holds on to it. And no hurry at the moment, are they? Of course, 2-0 to the good. Long way to go in this game. A third they probably feel will kill this game off. Now Ollie Johnson wins the ball back. Surges up towards the halfway line. Ollie Johnson sends it towards Adam Boyes. Well cut out. Good piece of defending there, because that was a good run from Boyes off the shoulder. And eventually Chris Doyle did enough, though, to step across, take the ball away, and it's all the way back here with Stephen Drench. His clearance up to the halfway line. Picked up now by Jake Lawler, sends it towards Nicky Boschel. Boschel wins it, gives it to Danny Boschel. He's got Ryan Tilson on the right-hand side, who stopped his run. The ball went to him anyway. It's, again, a little bit of that miscommunication between the two. And Chorley come away with it. Stevenson down the left flank, looking for Sim. Sim, the scorer of the second goal, gets past Danny Ellis. Ellis gets a touch on it, earns the corner for his side. And Chorley will now have another corner, a countless amount of corners they've had in this first 45, and another chance to press Guiseley.
Well, a week ago, the way that Guiseley were able to counter-attack once they got the lead, you had to applaud it, and it's the same with Chorley today. They may be 2 goals up, but the way that they can have so many men back, defending in numbers, and then the moment they get that ball forward, they've got 3 or 4 really quick players that can just rush it forward, and it results now in this corner.
Corner for Chorley. 5, 6 players lining up. Players right inside the 6-yard box like we saw last week against Stockport. Ball curled in. Stephen Drench gets a punch on it. Referee gives a free kick. And clearly they felt the goalkeeper was being impeded. And Guiseley now have a chance just to take the sting out of it and move the ball forward.
Yeah, it just looked for a second like Drench was going to quickly take that free kick, and James Dean, very clever, just stands in front of the ball, makes sure he can't find it, either Ollie Johnson or Adam Boyes, and Drench has to then just re-evaluate his options and take it again.
Cottrell now on the ball for Chorley, takes the ball away from Guiseley immediately. He sends it towards Chris Sim on the edge of the D, but it's gone beyond him to Stephen Drench. And the ball's immediately back towards Adam Boyes. And Nicky Boschel is battling up with the goalkeeper on this far side. The linesman on that far side has slipped as he's gone to point for a goal kick. Looked like for a minute that Nicky Boschel might have kept it on. In fairness, it looked like he might have done. But the linesman on that far side, Alan Holt, has given a goal kick.
Yeah, well, I don't think the linesman particularly saw whether the ball had been kept in or not, because he's fallen over, and it looks like he might be in a bit of discomfort here. The referee's running over to him, so it looks like both linesmen are going to be in the action during the first half.
You can't make it up, can you? Yeah, linesman slipped as he went to try and signal for that ball to have gone out. He's gone to ground. I think he's okay. He's got back up. Fortunately, we have a 4th official today, Edward Piddock. So he's in the between the 2 dugouts.
Looks like he might be needed.
So no need to call for an official from the stands, as occasionally happens. Guiseley 0, Chorley 2 is the scoreline here. It's not the scoreline we were looking for. It's Gateshead 1, Hales Owen 0. Gateshead, of course, through to the 3rd round of the FA Cup for the first time in 60 years this week. They played Hales Owen, beating Hales Owen, who Guiseley knocked out of the FA Cup earlier on this season. Stevenson now on the ball, battling hard to try and win this one through. Good tackle comes in from Danny Ellis. Free kick's given. Guiseley tried to get it away quickly. Short to Danny Boschel, but Stevenson's gone to ground. Looks like he's in some pain. You can never tell sometimes, can you? But he doesn't look very happy on there for a moment. They've already had one injury this afternoon, which was rather unfortunate. Mark Rosser, not quite sure how it occurred because it happened off the ball, but he was looked in some pain. He had to be replaced by Kyle Jacobs. And now Darren Stevenson, who's had a very good first 45 minutes. Unfortunately to say, he's currently on the ground, looking to be in a bit of pain, but he'll certainly use up the seconds anyway. And with 4 minutes to go in this first half, the Lions trail by 2 goals to 0. Not good news. Hyde 3, Spennymoor 0. So Hyder having a good afternoon. Ebbsfleet 1, Welling 1 now. Ebbsfleet equalising after an early goal for Welling, and Bishop Stortford. Stortford 0, Torquay 2. So Torquay looking at a pretty comfortable position. Fylde scoreline also coming through. Fylde 1, Gainsborough 0. No news from the Barrow game. At the moment, though, guys, they've got other worries, and that is that they are quite possibly exiting from the FA Trophy in the first round, and that would be a big disappointment. I have to say, actually, as well, Darren Stevenson doesn't look to be comfortable at all. I think they may have to make another substitute because he's really struggling to get to his feet here, isn't he?
Yeah, and it looks like one of the substitutes for Chorley's just done a quick warm-up, and they're taking their tracksuit off now by the looks of it. So, yeah, it's just one of them. Another injury where you couldn't really say whether or not he was making it up because it looked like such a small injury, but he really, when he landed, it looked like he was in a lot of pain, and he isn't putting any weight on. I think it's his right foot there.
Yeah.
So it looks like a nasty injury, and we wish him all the best, and hopefully he'll make a speedy recovery. But I've got to say, he during that first 40 minutes had really put himself about, and well, he'd helped contribute to both goals. So he'll be sorely missed for Chorley.
Well, the substitute will be made. Darren Stevenson is going off, and he will be replaced by, not quite sure who just at the moment. He's a former Bradford City scholar, is Darren Stevenson, and again he joined the club from Southport. Very good quality signing, I think, for them, because he's shown his quality this afternoon. Now Ollie Johnson wins the ball back for Guiseley on the halfway line as the Lions look to show their own, but Jake Lawler's weak in the tackle, and Jack Lynch comes away with the ball, and he gives it to James Dean. Dean down the right flank for Lynch. Lynch down to the touchline. He's got Jacobs in support. Dean now on the edge of the area, curls it in towards the 6-yard box, claimed by Stephen Drench. And Guiseley playing 10 men just for the moment because the substitute can't take place until the ball goes out of play. But no sign of the Lions capitalising just yet. Danny Boschel inside his own half, going square and back to Killock. And Danny Ellis looking to carve open a ball forward that might create something into the chest of Nicky Boschel. He gets the ball at the second attempt and gives it to Danny Boschel. Now Gavin Rothery on the right flank now for the moment. Goes forward. Well cut out by Dale Whittam, and again Guiseley have to resort to defensive duties. Dean backing into Ben Parker. Isn't penalised, but Parker wins the header anyway, and Ollie Johnson comes away with the ball. Gives it to Rothery. Rothery threads it through towards Ollie Johnson. Can't get on the end of that one. Ollie Johnson goes to try and claim the ball from the goalkeeper. He's blocked before he can get there, and the goalkeeper, Sam Rushton, comes out and does well to claim possession. Still 2-0. And still Guiseley really not asking too many questions of this Chorley defence. And eventually the substitute can happen.
Yeah, Paul Jarvis coming on for Chorley, and yeah, just you're playing 10 men, you maybe want to just try and get a couple more men forward just for that time. And Guiseley just weren't able to. They were doing okay until they got into the final third, and then Chorley were just able to man mark and make sure that they got the ball out of play, so that substitute could take place.
4 minutes of added time in this first half. Of course, we've had two injuries that have required treatment, unfortunately, both to Chorley. But there's no pleasure, is there, ever, in seeing two players go off with injuries. And they've had to use two substitutes already. The Guiseley team, though, isn't particularly threatening this Chorley goal, but they might now with Danny Boschel getting the ball into the area, headed away. And every second phase it seems to be won by Chorley. Ollie Johnson still thundering around trying to win the ball back, earns his side a free kick central, sort of in the midpoint of the Chorley half. And Guiseley have a chance perhaps just before the break. They need a goal back, don't they, Tom?
Yeah, and I think there's one or two Guiseley players not happy that the referee didn't play advantage, because the ball was with Ryan Tolson. You had Adam Boys and Ollie Johnson both in the area. Boys was unmarked, and the referee doesn't play advantage. And you're now looking for Nicky Boschel or Danny Boschel to deliver something a bit special from 35 yards out with this free kick.
It's a difficult one as well, isn't it? Very central. I mean, it must be 15 from the edge of the D. It's not in an angle that allows you to cross the ball in. It's too far to shoot. Nicky Boschel does take a shot, and well, I'm afraid the end result is rather predictable. It's perhaps given someone a sore midriff. but no more than that. And now Ben Parker has been robbed by Chris Sim. Chris Sim can run towards the goal. He's on the edge of the D, lays it square here to Lynch. It's gone beyond him to the substitute who goes through. And then Lynch is going to score, certainly.
What a tackle
on the line there by Ryan Toulson. And Toulson blocks it to deny an almost certain goal. And surely, well, Jack Lynch it was. How on earth did he not finish that and finish the game for Chorley?
Well, it was 4-on-1, and Ryan Toulson, you've got to give him credit though. He's run about 50 yards to get back on the line. It's a poor touch by Lynch. Toulson's able to clear, and you know what though, that can be a defining moment in this game. Let's hope it is.
Chance now for Chorley now to restart and keep the pressure up. Guys, almost victims of their own circumstances though. Ben Parker too weak and too easily shrugged off the ball there by Sim. Guys, you need to do a lot more in the second period and in the remaining, couple of minutes of this first half if they're going to get any way back into this game. Trailing by 2-0 here. They have a throw down the right-hand side. They give it to Gavin Rothery. Nodded back by Toulson to Rothery. Easily dispossessed. Chorley first to everything this afternoon. Headed back by Danny Ellis. Sims coming out. Stephen Drench, who's kept Guiseley in the game, along with Ryan Toulson with a superb block on the line. Just a couple of seconds ago, gets the ball away. Chris Doyle now up against Nicky Boschel. Boschel's chasing down the goalkeeper, Rushton, but Rushton's got time to nod it on, and a good head down here from Dean. Gives it to Kyle Jacobs. Paul Jarvis was a substitute also in that build-up who had the chance and didn't really take it. Now it's with Dean. Gives it to Jack Lynch. The ball into the area again. And now Jarvis recovers possession, comes down that left-hand side. Firm tackle comes in from Ryan Toulson. 2 players go down to the ground. And I think Ryan Toulson, who's taken a bit of a knock to the head, is going to go in the book here, Tom.
Yeah, I think it's just one of them, because I think Toulson, he doesn't really need to make the tackle. He's miscontrolled the pass. And it looks like it might even be going out for a goal kick to Guiseley. And Toulson just goes in, he clatters into him. And quite rightly, the referee will be giving him a yellow card, and it's just one of them tackles where there's no malice in it, but it's such a mistimed tackle. Clatters into the man, and the referee will just wait for him to get up and then give him the yellow.
Dear. Well, yeah, we saw this last week, didn't we? But it looks like his game's over. Another injury by the looks of it, because that Martin Stringfellow, I think, was just pointing to the bench. Andy Holdsworth, I think, is running up and down the pitch, but Toulson went down in that challenge. I think he actually got a knock to the head. And unfortunately, it looks like we're calling for a stretcher. And, we hope Ryan Toulson's okay. Went in for a firm tackle there, and they're calling for the stretcher here. And we're going to have another delay deep into stoppage time here already. And Ryan Toulson it was who went in for the tackle on Paul Jarvis, and the players go around to see what's going on, but the stretcher sadly coming on here, and we hope it's not too serious in the end. Ryan Toulson is currently just receiving some treatment. He is the man who's under the challenge. Let's just get some scorelines while this goes on from the rest of the FA Trophy. Vanarama Conference North has also got a couple of games occurring, and we've also got a few games that we're keeping an eye on in the Championship and in League One for local sides. So a couple of scorelines just to bring you up to speed with, which will mostly be the half-times. We're not at half-time here. Leeds and Fulham is 0-0. Norwich and Huddersfield's 0-0, although Huddersfield are down to 10 men in that game. Chesterfield, Bradford also scoreless. Brackley 1, Leamington 0 in the Vanarama Conference North. Gloucester 0, Barrow 0. Ryan Toulson just being helped onto the stretcher as we have this break in play, and hopefully he's going to be okay, but just at the moment needing to be very carefully attended to. In the FA Trophy, Aldershot 0, Burgess Hill 1 in the first half there. Altrincham 1, Macclesfield 0, Basingstoke 1, Gosport 1. Bradford Park Avenue and Kidderminster was called off earlier on. That game postponed. Braintree 0, Sudbury 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Bath 0, and that mighty derby there. Bromley 1, Leiston FC 0. Concord 0, Barnet 0. Dartford 0, Solihull 0. Dartford down to 10 men, so Solihull have a chance against the Vanarama Conference side. Ebbsfleet 1, Welling 1. Forest Green 0, Didcot 0. Forest Green also down to 10 men. Fylde 1, Gainsborough 0. Gateshead 1, Hales Owen 0. Hemel Hempstead 0, Sutton 0. You can probably hear that he's got a yellow card as he goes off the field of play, but Ryan Toulson is now heading down the tunnel on the stretcher. It's sort of ignominious when you're injured like that, and then you still get the referee giving you a yellow card there. Lowestoft and Dover 1-1. Hyde 3, Spennymoor 0. Lincoln 0, Alfreton 1. And we're about to get back underway, so we'll go back to some of the rest of this game, those scorelines at the break. But in the meantime, Chorley have another free kick. Guiseley have to reorganise. Andy Holdsworth is coming on for Ryan Toulson, who, of course, Andy Holdsworth played an awful lot of games at right back here. So he's a ready-made replacement, but the Lions have a big task here, as they've got to hold on to this game just before the break, trailing by 2-0. The cross comes in, but it's very, very poor, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Thankfully, I've no idea how many minutes we're going to play extra before the break, but we were, I think, a couple of minutes in when the tackle went in, and the referee had indicated a minimum of 4.
Yeah, so I think this, about a minute and a half to go from now, but
possibly it's guesswork, isn't it, to be fair. Free kick taken, goes over everyone. Adam Boyce flicks it on, nobody onto it. Ollie Johnson doesn't give it up. He's been full of running at least. Guiseley win a throw, back level with the 18-yard box. Guiseley need to really up their game here. It's not been good enough at all from the Lions, but they certainly need to do more, and hopefully they can do so in the break, and perhaps before the break and in the second half. Nicky Boschel has just gone down to ground as he gets the throw from Ben Parker. Free kick to Guiseley. This could be the sort of moment that might just help change things round.
Yeah, get all your big men forward and just get a good delivery in and see what happens, and this probably will be the last big attack of the half.
Nicky Boschel floats it in towards the right back post, and Jake Lawler was the target man. He couldn't get onto it. Still here with Gavin Rothery. Rothery on the right flank. Cuts in field, goes down to the byline. Rothery gets the cross, it's blocked. Danny Ellis is caught up field. Jarvis will clear, and he gets it all the way up towards Sim. It's going to come back though. Guys, you've got it now with Ben Parker. Can they launch one last attack in this half? Parker looks for his options. Floats one towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Killick still up, heads it up in the air. Wanting to get onto the end of it is Adam Boyes. He can't. Guys who win the ball back, but the referee, Thomas Bramhall, who decides to call time, and at half-time it's Guiseley 0, Chorley 2. And what a first half that has been, really. It's been all wrong for the Lions. They went down to a very controversial goal in after 28 minutes. There's no question about it. There's a great controversy about it, because the referee's assistant on the far side, the near side here, Christopher Hunter, flagged to disallow the goal. Referee overruled him and gave the goal, even though an offside flag had been raised. But there's no question about it. Chorley were the better side and deserved actually the goal that they did get when Chris Sim tapped home from close range on the edge of the 6-yard box after good work from Darren Stevenson. He had to go off, as has Mark Ross, the right back for Chorley, and also Ryan Toulson. And Ryan Toulson produced a wonderful blocking challenge on the line when Chorley had more men than Guiseley, but somehow Ryan Toulson managed to block to prevent the ball going into the net. But unfortunately, just on the cusp of half-time, Toulson made a challenge. I think might have got a blow to the head, a knock on the head with in the challenge, and had to be taken off for precaution on a stretcher. And Andy Holdsworth came on. At the break, though, Tom, it's not great, is it? Guiseley 0, Chorley 2.
No, it's flat at the break, and I think, the first 28 minutes you looked at it, just Chorley seemed to just be dictating the pace just a little bit more than Guiseley, but that first goal, it really blew Guiseley away, because it's just one of them. I immediately saw the linesman's flag. He was waving it. The referees overruled him, given the goal, and then Guiseley just seemed to fall asleep for a couple of minutes. They get the second goal. The only thing you can cling on to really is that last-ditch tackle by Toulson, and that's why I reacted like I did, because it seems to be the only bright spot we've had this half, because we haven't really created, a clear-cut chance. And best wishes to Tully, who went off on a stretcher, and also to the two Chorley players who went off injured. And you just hope Mark can get the players, gee them up, and get them out for the second half, because even though it is 2-0, the game isn't dead yet, and get a goal early on in the second half, you've got enough time to try and get back into this game.
Not dead yet, but it's not far off, is it? I mean, 2-0 down, if they were to get that third, you'd think that would be game, set and match, wouldn't it? And it's on a knife edge, really, from being beyond us in the early stage of the second half. It's a very tough and disappointing first 45 minutes, and disappointment of the performance compared to last week's at Stockport. But let's not dwell on that, just finally give you a couple of those other scores in the FA Trophy. We were running through them in the Vanarama Conference North side. Lowestoft have got a 1-1 draw at the moment at home to Cup heroes Dover, who were also down to 10 men. Maidenhead 0, Poole Town 1. Of course, Lowestoft last week came back, didn't they, the other week from with 10 men to draw 3-3, didn't they? Last Saturday it was, yes, against Solihull Moors. North Ferriby 0, Boston United 0. Nuneaton 0, Grimsby 0. Ramsbottom 0, Stockport County 2. Southport 0, Wrexham 1. Stortford 0, Torquay 2. Telford 1, Chester 1. More misery for Simon Weaver. FC United of Manchester 2. Harrogate Town 0 at the break. So we're not the only ones ruining this afternoon's performances in the first 45. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you something better. Stick with us. It can only get better than this, can't it, Tom?
Yeah.
We'll be back for a second 45 of this FA Carlsberg Trophy. First round tie, half-time score. Guiseley 0, Chorley 2. Well, welcome back here to Guiseley AFC Radio. We're back out early for the second half, just to show that we mean business and that we're wanting to get back into this game. So are the team. The Lions are already out in field here. Stephen Drench in the goal. There's no sign of the visitors until just now. They've been out a good couple of minutes, sent out by the management. Of course, will not be happy with that performance, that first 45, and I'm sure none of those lads down there will be either, will they, Tom?
No, I think when you're the home team and you're going at half-time and you're 2-0 down and you think, well, really, that's a fair scoreline. You can't be happy in the slightest. I think there wasn't really during that first half a moment where Guiseley looked like they were going to get a goal. As there were no real clear-cut chances. The biggest moment for Guiseley was a clearance off the line that they cleared when Tully cleared off the line. Because I think if it had been 3-0 going in at half-time, just like the Barrow game, you just saw that third goal psychologically. That could be the killer goal, the killer blow. But 2-0 at half-time, the lads have come out. They've been out a couple of minutes. Mark's clearly had a good word with them. And hopefully they'll be starting this second half just with a lot more energy and a lot more attacking pressure than they did during the first.
Referee back out as well. And Chorley are too. I wouldn't imagine there'll be too many... there wouldn't be any changes at the break. Possibly we'd expect to see Wayne Brooks be introduced. Nicky Boschel is out there, and I would imagine he would be the man to be sacrificed. Let's just give you a couple of goals before we get underway the second half. Of course, because we had the delays with injuries that we're going to be kicking off later. Norwich have actually taken 3 quick goals in the second half to lead against Huddersfield as we get back underway here. And FC United have got a third, and that's the thing that Guiseley don't want to do. FC United 3, Harrogate Town 0. Chorley now back in possession of the ball in the second period. Cal Jacobs sending it over down the right channel towards Dean, but beyond him and into the hands of Stephen Drench. The Lions looking to get an early goal back into this game, and they'll need an early goal if they're going to press, I'm sure, this very convincing Chorley side. Ben Parker now with the throw. Guiseley 2-0 down at the break here. And in the second period, looking to change everything around in the second half. After a very disappointing performance for all of Chorley's strengths, the Lions haven't shown their threat yet. Now Andy Holdsworth might. He's come up from right back. Gives us ball square to Gavin Rothery. Into Jake Lawler. Rothery now looks forward. He's got the 3 front men ahead of him in Adam Boyes, Nicky Boschel, Ollie Johnson goes square to Jake Lawler. Lawler sort of spins around, can't find the ball forward. And then when Danny Ellis does, it's aimless, and Ellis holds his hands in apology to Adam Boyes. It goes all the way back to goalkeeper Sam Rushton.
It's just one of them passes. It's a good couple of feet over his head. Boyes can't make anything of it, and well, it's straight into the goalkeeper's arms, and that's not what you want to do. You want to get it to players' feet at this early stage. Try and put Chorley under a bit of pressure, because if you don't, they're going to take full advantage.
Danny Boschel picks the ball up for Guiseley, gives it to Shane Killock. Up to the halfway line, Ollie Johnson can't win that. Won by Jake Lawler. Danny Ellis then collects. Guiseley being muscled off the ball in the centre circle. Gavin Rothery does, though, an excellent piece of trickery just to get the ball away to Danny Boschel. Poor ball from Danny Boschel. Guiseley win the ball back, though. Rothery firm in the challenge this time. Feeds it to Danny Boschel. Andy Holdsworth on the halfway line. Square to Jake Lawler. Chorley keeping a good shape here. Sort of a 4-1-4-1. And Guiseley can't break it down. Now Gavin Rothery on the ball. Threads it to the left-hand flank where Andy Holdsworth has come up from a right-hand side. Crosses into the area. It's cleared. That was the first cross of note that I can think for quite some time that Guiseley have had into the box. It's been repelled and it's out for a Guiseley throw. Throw-in taken by Holdsworth. Holdsworth into the feet of Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson skips past one into the area, tries to send it towards Gavin Rothery, but it's blocked. And now the visitors come away with it, trying to send it towards James Dean, but he's cut out well by Shane Killock. Danny Ellis, long ball forward, this time better. Adam Boyes can chase this one. Teague watches it well, under pressure from Adam Boyes, knocks it out for a throw-in, and this is a better spell of pressure from the Lions.
It most certainly is. The ball's put in the right position. Adam Boyes gets forward, puts the defence under pressure. You get this throw-in, try and make something of it.
Throw-in just about level with the 6-yard box on this right-hand side. be taken by Holdsworth. Short to Rothery. Rothery's dispossessed, but Guiseley win another throw. Level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. Now again. Throws taken, given to Rothery, picked up by Holdsworth. Holdsworth threads it back to Rothery. And around that final third, gives it to Danny Boschel. Good passing manoeuvre here from the Lions. Now Ollie Johnson on the right flank, goes down towards the touchline, gets the cross, goes up towards the back post, headed away by Jarvis, and eventually the visitors clear their lines. Ball up here with Jarvis again. Sorry, not Jarvis, Jacobs, who plays it square to Sim, but good work here from Danny Boschel to win the ball away. And then Danny Boschel goes in, wins the ball. And the referee has given a free kick under huge claim from the Chorley defenders, but that wasn't a studs up moment, surely not. And Boschel's been called over by the referee, and the referee's gone to his pocket straight away and brought out the yellow card. But I think that ball was there to be won, no different to a lot of the other challenges we've seen today. And Danny Boschel's got a yellow card for it.
Well, I was looking at the referee when that happened, and the referee actually was letting play go on. The Chorley bench have clearly reacted, and then all of a sudden the whistle's blown and the yellow card's brought out. So, I mean, Danny Boschel got the ball there, and he didn't catch the Chorley man. He got the ball, he won it fairly, and I think that's a really weird decision.
Oh, poor one. Free kick for Chorley, inside their own half though, about level with the centre circle. Sent long, up towards Teague. Teague gives a good flick on, good header to win the ball. And Guiseley can't clear their line still. The ball's back here with Chris Doyle. Gives it back to the substitute, Jacobs. Boys chasing, trying to win the ball back. Can't do so on this occasion. And eventually, Chorley concede possession by playing the ball straight to Jake Lawler, who's tackled by Teague. And the referee will stop play. And I have to say, if they're going to give a yellow card for one, I would think Teague will probably go into the book for that one, because it was very late on Jake Lawler. And indeed, the captain is being called over to be spoken to.
Well, I think it's just consistency. Danny Boschel gets a yellow card. This is now another tackle where it's not a yellow card.
OK, it's going to be one of those afternoons. Free kick to Guiseley nonetheless inside their own half. Stephen Drench right up by the centre circle now, ready to take. We've got 5 players on the edge of the 18-yard box to aim for. Drench up towards Danny Ellis. Ellis doesn't win the header. It was well defended there by Doyle. Guiseley battling hard and winning the ball back here. Boschel into the edge of the area, drives it towards goal, but it was never going to beat the near post. The goalkeeper Sam Rushton went down, but it was always going behind for a goal kick.
I think with a shot like that, you're just hoping Nicky Boschel's effort takes a little deflection and either goes out for a corner or makes the goalkeeper work, because that's never going to be beating the goalkeeper. It's it's at his near post. The goalkeeper had it covered, goes out of play, hits the side netting, and Chorley get the goal kick.
Oh, now a flick on here, and Chorley have come straight from the goal kick, got a flick on and almost sent James Dean away, but it was a good tackle in on him from Danny Ellis. I think knocks it out into touch for a throw-in, but that was a simple move that almost broke the Lions' defence down again.
Yeah, it's just one ball right over the top. Drench was really well actually to get it out of play, and James Dean there, it's just one ball over the top, finds Dean, runs onto it, and if he rounds Drench, it's 3-0.
Throw from this right-hand side for Chorley. It's gone back here to Doyle. Doyle will float this into the area. Danny Ellis is underneath it. He's left it. Misjudged the header altogether, and it went all the way back to Stephen Drench. Thankfully, there was no one behind him. The clearance from Drench up towards Boys, over him, and into the hands of the goalkeeper Rushton, who lays it out. Rushton to the right back. It's now Kyle Jacobs. Jacobs sends it over the top again, and good running from Sim. Got clear of the back line, and he was onside, but it was a ball that was way ahead of him and beyond him and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's good partnership play though by Dean and Sim, because what Sim does is he makes all them little nitty-gritty runs, a lot like Adam Boys, but then anything that falls to him, James Dean is just there and ready to pick up the scraps that Sim's made for him. So it's a case that guys are having to mark them two players very carefully, because if they don't mark one, the other will profit.
Header back from Andy Holdsworth, gives it to the goalkeeper Stephen Drench. Drench lofts it forward, headed back by Teague in the air. Killock attempts to win it away from Dean, but Dean's too powerful, too strong, takes a firm drive from distance. It was a superb strike. Dean's looking for the follow-up, but Andy Holdsworth gets there just ahead of him. A great piece of power play there from James Dean. Muscled in to win the ball and then drove it from distance. Stephen Drench was in good position, good sight of the ball to save it. But Dean didn't give it up, and Andy Holdsworth still had to be called into action to clear. And now it's a throw into Chorley on the left-hand side, and we're going to have a Guiseley substitute.
Is this an injury maybe? It's Shane Killett coming off for Danny Lowe, and well, when you're 2-0 down replacing your centre-backs, I think it must be some kind of knock.
Absolutely. It's not tactical, is it? No, not at all. Shane Killett going out is not good news, because that's our second substitute, fourth substitute. In fairness, both sides have now had 2 enforced substitutions.
And guys will be making a third in a minute with Brooksby, because he's just took his tracksuit off. So
we need something, don't we? We need something. Wayne Brooksby's exactly got the capabilities to bring it. Now, Chorley, though, have a throw. It's lofted into the area. This good long throw. This is headed away by Gavin Rothery. Rothery gives it to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth rather tamely stabs it clear, and Chorley win the ball back. And the visitors looking comfortable at the moment. 2-0 to the good. And with 54 minutes gone, you'd have to say it's all in their favour at the moment. Guiseley, who've had a brief spell in the Chorley half, in the beginning of the second half, where they look like they might threaten, haven't had a real chance yet. Chorley now battling hard to win the ball back inside the Guiseley half. In the end, it's gone out for a throw-in for Guiseley in their right-back position. And we have to get another ball because it's gone off. And like you say, Tom, you think that substitute's going to happen imminently?
Yeah, well, Wayne Brooksby is someone who offers a lot of pace. He's direct. He's also scored a couple of goals the last few games. And it's a case that Nicky Boschel's coming off. And I think this is the correct substitution. Wayne Brooksby is a little bit more direct. He likes to get forward. He's more of an attacking option rather than Nicky Boschel, who plays more as a midfielder, in my opinion. And Brooksby, if he can just get some form going, well, continue the form he had before he got that suspension, then we might be back in this game.
Well, a couple of score lines out of interest. Local sides, Leeds 0, Fulham 1. Bradford City are leading at Chesterfield now. But a goal to warm the cockles of your heart for Gloucester City. 1-0 up against Barrow in the Vanarama Conference North. So go on, Gloucester. Go and get that result. Guiseley, meanwhile, losing possession inside the centre circle. Although on this performance thus far, I don't think guys will be troubling the top place if this is the way we turn out week in, week out. And at the moment, we're being hassled and harried and troubled by this Chorley side, and they've just robbed possession back well with Cottrell. The ball into the area. Chris Sim trying to get on the end of it on the edge of the 6-yard box. A good tackle comes in there. Ben Parker called into action. Danny Lowe with his early touch. Guiseley almost, again, the authors of their own problems when Chorley are muscling us off the ball in that final third. Not getting the ball away quickly enough, are we? And not imposing ourselves on this game in the way that Chorley have. Long throw will come in here. Actually, it goes backwards to Doyle. Doyle has a job on to control it, but shows great skill for a centre-half. Goes down to the touchline, holds it in play, gives it back here to Dean. Dean gets a cross in. It's deflected off a Guiseley man, headed away by Lowe. Only as far as Lynch. Lynch takes a shot, but there's a free kick already given against the Chorley man. I think perhaps for handling when he controlled the ball, and Guiseley have a free kick.
Yeah, it just struck him on the arm, and then I think he knew he'd handled it, and that's why he hit quite a poor effort, because he didn't seem to care, because he knew that the free kick was going to be given. But again, Chorley, it just shows you they can hit it over the top. They've got a centre-back there who showed tremendous skill to get the cross in, and they are just showing a lot of skill. They're moving the ball really well, and Guiseley just need to up their game a little bit here.
Well, Wayne Brooksby just in a little bit of afters there with Adam Mather. Mather, all credit to him, didn't react, but I think Brooksby clipped him. And Guiseley just looking to impose themselves on this game now and just need to change the dynamic somewhat, fight back a bit, because I think Chorley have certainly bullied them out of this game so far. We've got an offside decision against Chorley, so Guiseley will have a free kick. Stephen Drench comes out all the way to the edge of the centre circle to take this one. And referee and linesman very pernickety about the exact precision of the spot that the ball needs to be placed into. Guiseley eventually put it in the right place, and Drench takes it, sends it up towards Danny Ellis, who's on the left flank. Guiseley win the throw. Danny Ellis can't win the header. And now it sort of holds still, doesn't it? The positions are looking for an option. Goes short to Gavin Rothery. Rothery back here to Parker. Ball comes into the area up towards Ollie Johnson, headed away this time by Mather. And the clearance will be completed, but good work from Andy Holdsworth. Now Wayne Brooksby, his first touch of the ball, just up from the corner flag, gives it to Holdsworth. Holdsworth cross towards the back post into Adam Boys. He flicks it back across the face of goal. It's defended and cleared, and then a rather careless lunge from Boys trying to win the ball back results in a Chorley free kick.
Well, good play there by Boys in terms of he was able to get his head onto it. He's trying to find Ollie Johnson, but the Chorley defence, because they're 2-0 up, they can have that extra man back, and it meant Ollie Johnson was 3-on-1 when that header was going towards him, and two of them were able to just block Johnson, and the other one cleared it. And Boys there, just a little bit of frustration, because he is trying today, but it's just not going off for him like it did last week against Stockport.
Jake Lawler into the feet of Danny Boschel. Ollie Johnson now gives it to Wayne Brooksby. Now Andy Holdsworth spines on, goes forward down this right hand side, gives it square to Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby looks for options. It goes square again and back to Danny Boschel. You just feel a little bit more urgency is needed from the Lions. Danny Ellis, when he does eventually when he is asked to do those long balls forward, they're not getting a destination, and now the counter-attack is immediately on here with Paul Jarvis up against Ellis. Jarvis cuts inside, will get a shot away with the right foot, cut out well by Danny Lowe. And it's a chance for Jack Lynch now to take over for Chorley. He goes backwards to Jacobs. Jacobs crosses the ball into the area. The linesman's flag is up. The referee allows Stephen Drench to claim it. And Guiseley will continue. Still 2-0 to Chorley. The Lions with a mountain to climb in the second half. And to be fair, not particularly showing any signs of climbing it just at the moment. Jake Lawler on the ball now, gives it to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson out to Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby cuts in field this time, has a bit of a run. Good run here, good creativity. Brooksby can't quite get past Cottrell, but that was the kind of movement and action that Guiseley need if they're going to create anything. Now, good work here from Danny Boschel, wins the ball back. Ollie Johnson into the feet of Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby runs with it, gives it towards Danny Boschel. It's beaten away by Chorley, now for a throw actually to the visitors. Took a deflection off Boschel, I think, at the last. Well,
Chorley defended that well, but it's the first time that a player's run at them and really shown some urgency to get into the penalty area. And Wayne Brooksby there, that's exactly what they can bring. And if he can just keep doing them runs, you've got to presume sooner rather than later one of them will end up with him either setting someone up or getting into the area himself.
Now a ball over the top there, causing all sorts of trouble for Guiseley. It's been picked up here by James Dean. Dean gets the ball curled in towards the back post, goes beyond the target, which was Sim, and behind for a corner, but it was just high up in the air ball. It fell down awkwardly. Danny Lowe, in fairness, had a job on to really watch it. Dean, he's such a danger, isn't he? As a striker, he was ready to get underneath it and pounce, but unfortunately for the Lions, we managed to deal with that one just well enough.
Yeah, well, I think he just puts the defence under so much pressure. He gets into their heads that if they make one single error, he'll take advantage, and it means Danny Lowe, in all fairness, as you said, did quite well, but Dean was able to he was able to take advantage of it. He just wasn't able to get a good enough cross in.
Vanarama Conference North score, Brackley 2, Leamington 0. Leamington, of course, next up here at Nethermoor next Saturday. Guiseley now defending again, the ball down the left-hand side towards Jarvis. It's gone beyond him, though, unfortunately out for a throw-in in Guiseley's right-back position. He's doing an awful lot more if we're going to get this ball into the right territory. And with 17 minutes gone in the second half, the Lions have looked like they've been pretty much overrun by Chorley. Now they come forward again. Whitman. And this time the ball is knocked out for a throw-in. Mather will come forward to take. Adam Mather. Thrown on this left-hand side. Signed from Woodley Sports. Certainly a player of quality. And they tried to cut the ball in field. It's been picked up here again by Chorley, and Mather will get another opportunity to cross this ball into the area. He does so, too close to Stephen Drench. And it's comfortable for the Lions keeper. He launches it up towards Adam Boys, but he's not going to be able to beat the three defenders around him to the ball. Nodded on by Wayne Brooksby. Jake Lawler goes to ground. He's been clipped. And Cottrell recognises the issue and apologises. Guiseley tried to move the ball forward from the free kick, but lose possession as quickly as they win it back, and Chorley once again will press down this left-hand side. Just a chance for them to take the sting out of the game. A loose ball there from Teague, gives the ball straight to Boys though. Johnson, he's got 3 players and is already sent backwards. Even when Guiseley have a half chance of a moment to press forward, it's been closed down by Chorley, and the Magpies look quick to respond to most things this afternoon. Now Guiseley win the ball back here with Brooksby inside the centre circle after good work from Danny Boschel. Out to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth square to Boschel. Danny Boschel looks ahead, looks for options, doesn't see any, goes square to Jake Lawler. Lawler across to Ben Parker. Guys, you need to do more than this. Parker now plays it towards Ollie Johnson. Everyone misses the ball there, and it's gone all the way back to Sam Rushton. Still 2-0 to Chorley.
Oh, Guiseley just at risk of just letting this game drift by without really throwing themselves out at this. You know, you'd rather lose this game 3 or 4-0. It's a one-off game, it's a trophy game, than lose 2-0 and not really throw your men forward. I think Ollie Johnson and Adam Boys, they haven't really had a chance today, and Wayne Brooksby has just been on, but he's already made probably the best run of the match for the Lions without really there being a chance.
No, Ollie Johnson, good bit of trickery, gets the ball in field towards Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby wins it, but is quickly closed down. Brooksby does well to win it back. Gives it to Danny Boschel, into Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson, can he do something special with this? He's got his back to goal, always with his back to goal, because there's players around him crowding him out. Gives it to Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby crosses in towards the penalty area. Adam Boys can't take it down, and it's cleared only as far as Danny Boschel. Now guys, he need to press. It's here with Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth in towards the edge of the area where Ollie Johnson claims. Wayne Brooksby, another cross into the area, flicked on by Holdsworth and behind for a goal kick. Holdsworth in the end was not in the right place ready to make the connection there. And Guiseley concede the goal kick, but better build-up play there.
Yeah, better build-up play, that is a positive. I just felt there was just a moment where Danny Boschel had the ball, no one really near him, and it looked like he might have a shot. That intricate little passing play, it's like Chorley, you're feeding Chorley that though, because they like that kind of play. They can mark the men, they can defend it quite easily. Sometimes when you're in that position, it is best to just have a shot on goal and give the keeper something to think about, because I might be wrong, but I can't remember the goalkeeper making a save yet. No,
I think that's the key point, isn't it? He hasn't, has he? And Guiseley have really not done enough to test that stopper. And the other goal, and at the moment, the Lions are coming up short. I've got a couple of goals to tell you about in the trophy, and another one in the Vanarama Conference North in a minute, but just stick with this for the moment, because Danny Ellis on the ball, looking forward to play it long, maybe. Goes square actually to Wayne Brooksby. Back here to Andy Holdsworth, and then into Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson changes the angle, sprays it out to the left-hand side. Taken down well here by Gavin Rothery. Rothery up against the full-back, cuts in field, eventually dispossessed though by Jack Cottrell, who's had an excellent game this afternoon, and Cottrell plays the ball clear and gives it into the feet of Jacobs. Jacobs then towards James Dean, and Dean sends it towards Sim, and Sim chases everything down here. Ball played back to the goalkeeper Stephen Drench. So let's get that scoreline that's come through. It is Gloucester 2, Barrow 0. So Gloucester City 2-0 up in the Vanarama Conference North against Barrow. Guys, they get the ball now here from Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby into Ollie Johnson on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's crowded around with players, does well to get the ball out, but there's nobody expecting it to come in the area that he plays it into. And Guiseley, again, pick up the second phase, now beginning to get some possession football here and begin to press this Chorley defence. Gavin Rothery cuts it in towards Ollie Johnson on the edge of the 18-yard box. He shows a bit of trickery, just can't get the ball away. He's got players around him, trying to feed it through to someone. Goes down to ground, claims a free kick. Guiseley win it back well with Jake Lawler. Super tackle. That's the sort of tackle Chorley have been doing all day to Guiseley. And that's worked so well for them. Now the Lions pressing back here with Gavin Rothery. Gets the ball into the area, headed up in the air by Mather. Headed away by Jarvis, only as far as Danny Boschel on the edge of the 18-yard box, away from goal. Danny Boschel gives it to Wayne Brooksby. Brooksby, can he get the ball into the area? Can we actually press this goalkeeper? The ball into the box and headed up in the air and eventually cleared by Teague. And eventually It comes up and Sim claims the ball on the halfway line and runs at Danny Lowe. He's going to beat Danny Lowe. Sim's pulled down by Lowe, but the referee tries to allow play to continue. And in the end, Sim has been pulled back and it'll be a free kick. There's shouts of off, but I wouldn't be surprised here if Danny Lowe picks up the yellow card.
Yeah, well, Danny Ellis is actually by his side, so he isn't the last man. But yeah, Ollie Johnson, good bit of play by him, but he's crowded out. He's 5-on-1, and you're just looking for him to deliver the pass. And when he does, you've got to give Chorley credit. They've got two other men straight on the person that's going to receive it, and it's just really good defending by Chorley. They've done the attacking play. They've got the 2 goals. Now they're defending really well. But you've got to say, guys, they still haven't had a shot on target during this match, and that is really disappointing.
Ollie Johnson, in that build-up to this free kick, was having a right old discussion with the referee. He's furious about the fact he wasn't given a free kick on the edge of the area when he was surrounded. But to be fair, very difficult to see quite what happened with the number of players around him. Chorley here have a free kick about level with the edge of the angle of the penalty area on the right-hand side. The flag goes up this time. I wonder if the referee will give that. Yes, he does. I think he should overrule him.
First time for everything.
Free kick to guys inside their own penalty area. A couple of other scores, let's just bring you those. Dover 2-1 up now against Lowestoft. Bath City have had a couple of quick-fire goals. Interesting because it's Bath versus Bristol Rovers, a huge... there were ground share, wasn't there for a long time. What a miserable afternoon for Huddersfield, though. 5-0 down now against Norwich City. They were 0-0 at the break. 5-0 they now trail this afternoon. So a very poor afternoon for the Terriers. Not such a great one either here for the Lions as we face exit from the FA Trophy. 2-0 down from the first half. And with 20 minutes to go, Guiseley not really mustering the sort of response you would consider being adequate to get back into this game just at the moment. There's a collision between 2 players now. The Chorley bench is up and down all the time. Every single challenge that goes in, they claim. And in this instance, 2 players have gone up to try and win the ball. I can't see there's anything wrong with it. It is a collision.
Yeah.
But you can't blame either player surely in that challenge.
No, it's a clash of heads, and I think both players are going for the same ball. They've both got their eyes on the ball as well. There's nothing really, too much in this, and it's just literally the referee's having to control the Chorley bench because every single person on that bench jumped up shouting, and in my opinion, it's 2 players going for the ball. It looks like a clash of heads. Both seem to have received a little bit of treatment. And
it's never good, is it, to see the clash of heads? Adam Boyes and Chris Doyle, I think it was, who were competing for the ball. And a red card. And a red card has been shown to Adam Boyes. A straight red to Adam Boyes for... I've absolutely no idea. I think the referee's just been influenced by the bench. 2 players going for the ball, and the referee has bought one there, and Adam Boyes has been sent off, and there is fury here at the ground here because that is just ridiculous. I cannot see how on earth. Again, we'll have to wait and see against the video. Fortunately, we've got video, and probably there's an appeal there, but I cannot understand how that has just come about. Adam Boyes, to be fair, has gone off. There hasn't been too much protest, but from where we sat here, they looked like it was 2 players going in for a header and cleared it. The bench was very swiftly off. I think this is a game up for us. Down to 10 men. Adam Boyes sent off a straight red. He'll be suspended for, I think it's 3 games if that's allowed to go through. And Guiseley now, well, it's an impossible job, I would think now.
The only thing I will say about that is Adam Boyes, he was shown the red card and he just left the field immediately. There wasn't any real protest for him, so maybe he did do something wrong there. But yeah, I think it is game over. 2-0 down to 10 men, and haven't really tested the Chorley defence today. And now you lose one of your main strikers, you really are going to be struggling. But yeah, you just wonder, has the referee bought one, or did Boyes do something wrong? Like you said, we've got the video we've got the video highlights. We'll be able to watch it back.
Danny Ellis plays it forward. Guiseley, not much hope to get back into this game. 2-0 down now. We're down to 10 men. Haven't even tested the goalkeeper really with 11. I can't see that we're going to do much today. It's just been a woeful performance. All credit to Chorley. They've really hustled and harried and bullied Guiseley out of this game. And you can complain and moan about physicality, but you can't really complain about the sort of physicality we've faced today, I don't think. It's been strong and it's been forthright, but Guiseley have been the victims of their own downfall, I think, to some extent. The Lions now put the ball down the left-hand side, and it's a chance here for Chris Doyle to knock the ball out into touch. Guiseley actually concede the throw. It takes deflection off Ollie Johnson, who has run and run this afternoon. Chorley now with a throw in their own right-back position. Surely we're just going through the motions here. Unless we could get a goal, unless we could have something that would turn this game in our favour, it's looking fairly ominous for us. Ben Parker now gives the ball to Gavin Rothery. Rothery square here to Danny Boschel. Boschel looks ahead of him. Minus Adam Boyes now, so it's a little more hard to pick out a pass. But there's a beautiful ball played in towards Wayne Brooksby. Super challenge to deny the ball to get through to Brooksby, but that was a little bit promising. And the home fans at least let them side know that they're still hoping they can pull something off here and get behind them a little bit. Now Ben Parker on the left-hand side. He's up against the full-back. Parker goes back past him, goes towards the touchline, gets the cross in. It hits off the inside of the post, and it's kept out somehow by the goalkeeper. To be fair, that was not something that Ben Parker must have intended to do, but his cross actually evaded the goalkeeper, hit the inside of the upright, bounced back to the goalkeeper, Sam Rushton. And they've had the rub of the green, but that was quite something, wasn't it, there from the goalkeeper and from Ben Parker. And no question, I think, that it possibly could have gone over the line. There was no real claim for that. It didn't fall in that way. But Guiseley actually have had better chances since Adam Boyes has gone off, rather unusually. Now, Wayne Brooksby battling to try and win this ball back. It's cleared. Guiseley win the throw. Win the ball back with Stephen Drench inside his own goal. Looks like there's going to be a change for the last change of the day for the visitors. At the meanwhile, Guiseley press the ball forward. Teague gets it away, gives it here to Jarvis. Jarvis now on the ball up against Andy Holdsworth. Jarvis back to Teague. Teague lofts one long, and it's over the front man and out for a goal kick. Still 2-0 to Chorley. Guiseley down to 10.
Well, just that moment there, if that goes into the back of the net, Guiseley are back in it. Just got to say, a man from Chorley has said that apparently Adam Boyes kicked out is what has been said. So if that is the case, then well, maybe that red card is justified. But you've got to say that since Boyes has been sent off, Guiseley have actually started to throw a couple more men forward, and it feels like it's needs must now to get the men forward and try and get the chances. And you know, you can just get a goal now. You're back in it, but unfortunately, time is against Guiseley.
A little more than 15 minutes left. We've had a woeful afternoon here. Lions down to 10, 2-0 down at home to Chorley. Tough game we knew we were going to be in for, but we really haven't pressed this goal at all in the second half in the way that you would want to chase the game. Chorley have been very dominant. Guiseley now, last 15, press forward once again here with Ben Parker into the feet of Brooksby. This time he can't control it. Guys will win the second phase back. I have to say we're having a better afternoon than Harrogate Town. 4-0 down against FC United. Don't forget FC United playing the division below us. I know that's not all. He's quite a descriptor of the abilities of the relative side. But FC United 4, Harrogate Town 0. And Guiseley get the ball onto the halfway line. Danny Ellis sends it long. There was a shout of shooter from the crowd, which perhaps just at least let's register a goal, a shot on target. Eh? We've had one now, haven't we? That Ben Parker cross. Jake Lawler, although it wasn't on target, was it?
No, it wasn't. It hit the post. And we still haven't.
Brooksby here gives it to Rothery. Rothery can't get this in. Lays it back here to Parker. Parker gets the cross in. Header on by Danny Boschel. Sort of flicked it on. It was a better move, and Danny Boschel did his best to get the right sort of connection onto it, but it was always some distance from goal and just sort of flicked wide and gone behind for a goal kick. Yeah,
well, the last 5 minutes have been quite encouraging for Guiseley. Shame the first 70 weren't really, but it's a good chance, and Danny Boschel does his best. It's never going to be on target, the header, but at least he's given the effort there to get his head onto it and giving Chorley something to think about. But I think that Chorley are more than happy now just to get the ball, keep hold of it, and just really run the clock down. They know that they've got the man advantage, and then it's a case that if they have to, they've got the likes of James Dean who can get Guiseley off on the break. So for Guiseley now, is, in my opinion, just go for it. Get a couple more men forward. You lose by 4 or 5. Does it matter? It's the FA Trophy. You lose, you're out, and really you want to lose thinking that you gave it your all. You gave the other team a real good go, and at the minute I wouldn't say Guiseley have.
Denny Ellis gets a clearance. Actually gives Ollie Johnson half chance to get on the end of the ball, but he's crowded out by players. Guys, follow up though. Good work here from Wayne Brooksby on the edge of the D. He's pulled down. Surely almost a penalty, a free kick right on the edge, and the referee surely has a decision to take. Here's a big shout against from the crowd that there should be a red card. I don't think there's a chance of a red card because there was two other players around him, but the referee has called the defender over and given him a yellow card. Andy Teague it is, isn't it, the captain who put the challenge in, but really good work from Wayne Brooksby and Ollie Johnson, that build up there.
Yeah, and the correct call by the referee for that one. It's pretty clear that he wasn't the last man, but again, I think that's one taking one for the team. He looks at Wayne Brooksby and thinks he's just going to run in and get the goal. Just take him out and take the booking in the process.
Free kick is very central. It's about a yard inside the D. Towards it's almost level, directly parallel with the penalty spot. So Guiseley have got a heck of a lot of work to get this ball over the wall, but it's a good position nonetheless. Wayne Brooksby stands over, Danny Boschel stands over, Andy Holdsworth stands over. It's Brooksby, drills it, hits the wall, of course it does. Up into the air, Danny Ellis hits it, fired in by Brooksby, blocked by Chorley, and a chance now for them to counter-attack here. Jarvis into Cottrell. Cottrell over the halfway line, surges forward. The midfield has been very impressive this afternoon. Cottrell cuts in field, crosses the ball out here towards James Dean. Dean takes it down on his chest, just eases things and plays the ball into the area. Headed away well by Andy Holdsworth. Danny Ellis not with a convincing header, gives ball back to Chorley, but they handle it, and Guiseley take a free kick intelligently, quickly. Now Wayne Brooksby charges forward. He's up against 4 Chorley defenders. Guiseley can't get the bodies forward quickly enough. Square now to Danny Boschel. Well done from Brooksby there. He had a good piece of work to do. Gives the ball to Danny Boschel. Boschel square to Gavin Rothery. Rothery in field to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson surging forward into the penalty area. Lays it square, looking for someone to get on the end of it, but there's no combination really there in the Guiseley attack that works, and now Chorley can counter-attack. Dean up against Danny Lowe. The powerful body of Dean is much of a threat for the Lions. He crosses the ball in towards the goal from a very wide angle there, and Stephen Drench is always watching that one as it goes over the bar, but again, these counter-attacks, it's going to open up, isn't it, in this last sort of 9 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that pass by Ollie Johnson there, that pass is perfect for Adam Boyes. But unfortunately, Boyes isn't on the pitch at the minute, so in the end, Chorley are able to clear. But during the first half, they were able to get men forward so quickly. And I think because they've been able to not really use too much energy during parts of this second half, now they know that on the counter, they can get men forward, and from their point of view, get a third.
Well, the clearance from Danny Ellis just taking a deflection off Sim, and it's gone behind for a Guiseley throw in their right back position. Let's go through a couple of scores. Hyde 4, Spennymoor 1, Nuneaton 0, Grimsby Town 1, North Ferriby 1, Boston 1. Boston taking the lead in that game. Ferriby has got the equaliser. Torquay now 4-0 up against Stortford, and it's filed 3, Gainsborough Trinity 0, all in the FA Trophy. Now Guiseley clear to the halfway line, eventually getting it to Ollie Johnson, down to Gavin Rothery. Better here from Rothery, gives it to Danny Lowe, who's forward, gives it to Ollie Johnson inside the centre circle. Good skill again from Ollie Johnson. He's almost taking them all on his own though. Tricks past one, but he's got an awful lot of work to do. Gets a shot away, it's blocked, gives it to Andy Holdsworth. Holdsworth crosses in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. It can't follow through. Back in here from Jake Lawler into the feet of Gavin Rothery. Out to the left-hand flank. It's crossed in this time by Lowe. Beyond the players in that penalty box. Ollie Johnson chases out. It's going to go behind for a goal kick.
Well, like you said, Ollie Johnson there, he's beaten 4-5 men on his own. Tries to beat the 6th, have a shot. Player gets in the way, and Johnson, it's just a shame since Boyes went off. Johnson really has been trying to do everything on his own, and he's actually been doing quite well, getting past a couple, but he just hasn't been able to get past the final man, and that means that Chorley are just able to clear it and get it forward again.
A few fans are making their way out. It's that sort of afternoon. Guiseley trailing 2-0. They've really given it a go since they went down to 10 men, just like they did last week, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough, I would think. They haven't really managed to actually get that final opportunity in on goal against a very well-drilled, well-disciplined and well-organised Chorley side. Sim has just bundled over Ben Parker and conceded a free kick, claims it was shoulder to shoulder. I think the right decision was made on that instance, and Guiseley have a free kick inside their own half, and Sim's just trying to waste time by kicking the ball away. And you've seen players carded for that sort of thing, Les. I'm not advocating that. Chris Sim scored that second this afternoon, and it was a well-worked goal. The first certainly rounded in controversy. Gavin Rothery out by the touchline. He's got 2 or 3 players on him. Guys, he just can't get the passing movement going. Ben Parker chased down by Sim, has to go all the way back to Stephen Drench. Now can the Lions muster something? 2-0 down, playing with 10. Stephen Drench up towards Lowe, headed away. Lowe playing further forward down left back here as the ball goes over the top, and Stephen Drench still has to contend with Chris Sim, who chases that ball full of pace, full of running this afternoon. Gives the ball back now here and plays it to the left-hand side. Given to Mather. Mather comes forward now and isn't tackled. Danny Boschel and Andy Holdsworth stand off him. Holdsworth does well, tackles him. The ball knocks against the full-back and out for a Guiseley throw. They need to do a lot more than this, though. 5 minutes to go. Looks like there'll be that final substitute we were waiting for earlier. Stephen Drench almost fluffing his lines at the back there as the throw went back to him. And the ball's returned almost immediately to James Dean. Dean's got himself free in the area. He's up against Ben Parker now. Dean does well, lays it back to Cottrell. Cottrell with the drive. Drench watches that one go behind for a goal kick, and it'll be that substitute for Chorley. And there's a substitute, which means that James Dean is going off. Chance perhaps for him to receive the applause of the visiting fans. And the man coming on is Josh Hine. So Josh Hine on for James Dean, and the visiting fans applaud their man who has played a very big part in this game. Didn't get on the score sheet, but has been a very impressive front man this afternoon.
Yeah, I think the Chorley fans who were making a lot of noise, quite rightly they're applauding him off, because he has been a very good player today, real menace for the Guiseley defence. And like you said, he might not have got a goal, but the amount of work he's put in, he deserves the applause he's received.
Well, clearly a free kick to Ollie Johnson inside the centre circle. Guys, he now can press in the last few minutes. If they could get a goal, you never know, do you? If we could just muster something up here. Stephen Drench ready to launch this one forward inside the centre circle, inside the Chorley half. Drench sends it up towards Jake Lawler, who's in the penalty area. Beyond him for a goal kick. Disappointing end to that move. And we enter the last 4 with Guiseley trailing by 2-0, down to 10. And if you're just joining us, it's not been a happy afternoon here at Nethermoor, has it? We've also lost Ryan Tilson to what looked like a rather nasty injury in the first half. And there were 2 injuries as well to Chorley players in the first 45 as well. And unfortunately, it's not been a good afternoon on or off, well, not off the field, but on the field here today. Ball goes over and is flicked on from the goal kick. Off the field, actually, we've had a rather good day, because we were doing the wonderful collection for the Otley Food Bank, and we looked like we'd got an awful lot of stuff collected as I came in, and the community branch have also noted that we have claimed a £100 donation as well towards the food bank, and we're repeating that next Saturday against Leamington. Guiseley now take a free kick, and Wayne Brooksby's collected it in right midfield. Him and Andy Holdsworth combine, and then Brooksby chips the ball into the area. There's no one to target the ball towards, and Guiseley just can't get a smithering of an opportunity, really, and it's just snuffed out once again by Chorley, and Chorley come away on the counter-attack. Probably feel they could beat this game to death now with a third goal, as the substitute, Josh Hine, goes towards the byline. He's beaten away by Guiseley, and up here to Gavin Rothery. Rothery is closed down brilliantly by Cottrell again. Cottrell, who's played very, very well for me this afternoon, been at the heart of a lot of their ball-winning moment. He gives the ball to the right-hand side there, where Guiseley eventually intercept. And Danny Boschel's ball towards Ollie Johnson is cut out before Whittam. Dale Whittam takes the ball down and sends it up towards Sim. Guiseley win it back here. Wayne Brooksby inside his own half. Gives it to Danny Boschel. Something spectacular will have to happen. There's a man. Sim goes down, claims a free kick, gets up immediately. And it wasn't Sim, sorry, I think it was Cottrell. And gets up, and Guiseley again have to defend for a spell because Chorley just holding onto the ball. They send it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Sam Rushton. Sam Rushton actually played in the FA Cup in 2006 for, I think it was Bolton, I was reading, and he had to come on in the last few minutes, not as a goalkeeper, he was the third choice keeper, but he was thrown on as a makeshift striker. So he's had 3 minutes in the FA Cup, third round. He's not been called into too much action. He might have played up front for all he's been threatened this afternoon, really. It's a throw into Guiseley that they take and give it to Stephen Drench, and Sim just chases it down and continues to harry and press. Stephen Drench gets it up to the halfway line, can't get it all the way through. Whittam takes the shot from the edge of the centre circle. If he'd got that one, it would have been a spectacular one. In the end, it's actually gone all the way to Stephen Drench. Comfortably cleared up towards Ollie Johnson. He chests it down, but can't control the ball well enough. Josh Hines comes away with the substitute, who's just been on for a couple of minutes, is obviously full of running. It's beaten back to the goalkeeper. And Guiseley now will spend the last couple of minutes of this game chasing shadows. It seems they're really unable just to get the hold of this ball, and Chorley have done what you expected them to do when Guiseley went down to 10, which is just hold onto the ball and have Guiseley do all the running. Teague, crossfield ball, taken down very well actually by Jacobs. Goes back to the back line with Doyle. Gives it to Teague. Teague square again to Mather. And Guiseley again will be defending as Adam Mather comes forward, gives the ball to Cottrell. Cottrell with two players around him does well. Makes a little surge forward, then square to Mather. And then Whittam towards the edge of the 18-yard box, gets a drive away at goal, and it's behind for a goal kick. And I think the ball just came up there, and we have 4 more minutes of stoppage time, with Guiseley trailing 2-0.
Well, it just feels like this is a game now where both sides are going through the motions. Chorley more than happy with their win. The Chorley fans making plenty of noise, and they'll be very pleased with their team's performance because they deserve to be winning this game. Guiseley, it's just a shame that really that red card, it took that red card for Guiseley to really get going with some attacking play.
Ball threaded in from Gavin Rother. He tried to find Wayne Brooksby. It was always going to be cut out, though. It feels it's one of those days, isn't it? I don't think we could really get a goal if we played for another three days. It feels like that, doesn't it? The way the game's gone this afternoon. Chorley, all credit to them, have defended very disciplinedly, very organised, very robust side, and Guiseley just haven't had the nous to break them down. Had a couple of half chances, notably that cross from Ben Parker, which came against the upright, but since the second half, it seems that the scoreline of this game, the result of this game, the outcome hasn't really been in doubt. Goal kick to the Lions because Chorley just trying to muster the ball forward. Aren't able to get it down. Stephen Drench takes the goal kick short, lofts it up towards Wayne Brooksby. He does well, he flicks it on. Ollie Johnson chases, but Teague is ahead of him. Clears. Ben Parker playing at centre half now since Danny Lowe's come on. He's moved infield. He gets a good header away, and then Danny Ellis has to knock the ball out into touch. And it will be a Chorley throw on the left-hand side. And Chorley rather comfortable at the moment, 2-0 to the good. Playing 10-man Guiseley. One piece of good news for both these sides probably is that Gloucester City have beaten Barrow by 2-0 this afternoon. So in that Vanarama Conference North game, because both those sides were knocked out of the competition in the third qualifying round, they got a hastily organised Conference North game, and now it's a chance here for Sim to put this to bed. He gets the ball into the area and drives it goal bound, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. It was a decent run, and now Guiseley have a goal kick. And we just need full time, don't we, here,
Yeah,
Tom? We've
just-
had enough now, haven't we?
We're all very cold. Let's just blow the whistle, and let's get back onto the Conference North, because that result for Barrow, it's a fantastic boost for Guiseley. It's a game that you would expect Barrow to get the 3 points. They've lost, so now Guiseley, let's concentrate on the Conference North and let's try and get promotion.
We haven't played Chorley yet in the league, though, and we're going to have to do a heck of a lot better than we have this afternoon. Wayne Brooksby gets the ball from Stephen Drench's clearance and controls with his arm, so a free kick is given against him. We're going to have to do an awful lot better, aren't we, in the league games against when these two sides meet again. Referee trying to hurry things on. I'm sure he'll be quite keen for this game to finish as well. One or two questions to answer, perhaps about the sending off, perhaps about the goal. Obviously we have to hold judgment on that, but certainly didn't look clear-cut decisions by any stretch of the imagination from where we're sat. But nonetheless, I think Chorley have merited their victory today. Ali Johnson's on his haunches in the penalty area, holding his back. That's the last thing you want to see. Ali Johnson with a little niggle. And the referee blows the whistle, thankfully. And it's been a miserable afternoon, a woeful performance, to be fair, from the Lions, and a well-deserved victory for Chorley. Guiseley 0, Chorley 2.
Well, credit to Chorley, they've won today and they deserve the victory. Guiseley, the bare facts of it all are Guiseley did not have a shot on target in 90 plus minutes of football. Adam Boyes won't be missing for 3 games because of the red card, unless Guiseley can appeal it. And Ryan Toulson's going to be out for a while. It looked like quite a nasty injury, so it's been a really bad day for Guiseley. They now have to just forget about this game, forget about the trophy, and concentrate on the league, the Vanarama Conference North, and hopefully we can use this to our advantage in the end, maybe having a few games less to play than last season when we did so well in the trophy. But there are no real positives to take from today in terms of the performance and in terms of the result.
Yeah, I think that sums it up adequately, Tom. Nothing good about that game this afternoon, it seems to me. There was no positives to take. Guiseley well beaten in the end by Chorley, and there was a couple of controversial moments, but at the end of the day, I think Chorley are well-deserved victors, and Guiseley really haven't done themselves the normal justice that they do when they come out. Hopefully it'll be different when we do battle again in the league, but in the end it's finished here 2-0 to Chorley, and Guiseley with a few other problems of suspensions and injuries as well to face after this game. Let's just quickly give you the final scorelines from the Championship and League One. Leeds 0, Fulham 1 in the Championship local sides. This is Norwich 5, Huddersfield 0, Chesterfield 0, Bradford 1, Vanarama Conference North, Brackley 2, Leamington 1. Of course, Leamington here next week. Gloucester 2, Barrow 0. In the FA Trophy, let's go through some couple of surprises in here. Aldershot 0, Burgess Hill 1. That's obviously a bit of a turn-up for the books. Altrincham 1, Macclesfield 0, Basingstoke, Gosport 2-2, Bradford Park Avenue, Kidderminster postponed, Braintree beat Sudbury 1-0, Bristol Rovers 0, Bath City 2, Bromley 2, Leiston 0, Concord 0, Barnet 0, Dartford 2, Solihull Moors 0. Dartford were down to 10 men in that game at 0-0, but they still muscled through. Ebbsfleet 1, Welling 1, Forest Green 2, Didcot 2, Fylde 3, Gainsborough 0, Gateshead 2, Hales Owen 0, Guiseley here 0, Chorley 2. We'll go through some of the Vanarama Conference North sides. Hyde 4, Spinnymore 2, Lincoln 0, Halfreton 2, Lowestoft 1, Dover 3, North Ferriby down to 10 men against Boston 1 each. Ramsbottom 0, Stockport 3, Southport 1, Wrexham 1, Telford 1, Chester 1. Let's finish it here. A.F.C. United of Manchester 4, Harrogate Town 0. We'll take that as the final good point of the day, if we can scratch at any sort of threads like that. Finished here anyway. Guiseley 0, Chorley 2. We'll see you again on Saturday when we take on a Leamington side in a repeat of the opening day of the season. So we'll see you then.